Welcome to Mimesis, the podcast about all the twisted ways that art and life imitate each other. I'm Stacey Rourke.
And I'm Sandra Sheriff Zackerly.
And we're your hosts on this zany adventure.
It's been an adventure this morning.
I'm still here, right?
We're both here.
Oh, man. We have been trying to, it's been, 40 minutes? We've been trying to,
Internet connections, kicking people off.
Yeah, I lost my second monitor. We tried to hit record and I vanished from existence all of a sudden. Yeah. So that was fun.
We were both in the system at the same time and we couldn't see each other.
We were in different places. Yeah. I'm here. Where are you? I'm here.
I'm here. Where are you?
I don't know where I am, but we're here and we made it.
We're here.
Yeah. Hopefully we don't get kicked out.
Hopefully not.
So I have to say, and I don't know if she listens to the podcast or not, but Jenny Zimmerman, who is a reader and a reviewer, Jenny, if you're listening, you are the reason I have anxiety right now because bless her heart, she's been doing a Once Upon a Book countdown every day and tagging me in it. And I'm like, oh God, okay. Because I'm excited, but there's still so much that has to be done. So, yes, we are 27 days away from Once Upon a Book right now.
Yes, when I put up the countdown on the website, you were like, I don't need to see that. And I was like, then just don't go to the website.
Yeah, but now the countdown has come to me.
Yes.
Yes. So we're 27 days away. We will be there with Mimesis merchandise and goodies, and I will be selling my books, and tons of other authors will be selling their books. Tickets that have, for those that don't know, like the layout of Once Upon a Book, on Friday we do panel discussions, we have a couple keynote speakers, and then that night we do a catered dinner and awards show. And then all day Saturday, which will be July 15th, is a author signing. We have over 70 authors attending.
Yep.
Every genre you could possibly want will be there and represented, but everything is very family friendly. We do insist on that. Tickets that have meal options with them are no longer available because we had to give final numbers to the caterers. But tickets to the VIP and general admission tickets are what's still available. So you can still go to the panel discussions, you can still go to the keynotes, and you can still come to the author signing. So if you want to come see us, you can go to Once Upon a Book authors. Hold on. I got to get the actual email out just a minute.
Once Upon a Book author signing
at gmail.com. Yes.
And that's the email.
No, that's the email. Oh
no.
My God.
Are you trying to say the website?
I am. Once Upon a Book author signing.
.com.
Is it .com?
It's .com.
Oh wow. Great things are happening. Yes. Once Upon a Book author signing.com. That's what it is. Wow. It's been a morning.
It's a morning.
Yes. So you can come see us there. Come see the shit show in person.
In person.
And my lovely niece has agreed to fly down here and drive up with me to Michigan again, which I appreciate so much.
Again.
Yeah. Again.
It's so much fun. I love it.
It is. And we get concentrated time together in the car and
because we don't get to see each other since you moved away.
Yeah. I know. And it's 2 full days that we get to hang out together, and if you wouldn't have rescued me, I would have had to do that entire drive by myself. So I really appreciate it.
Yes. Well, we need to say thank you to my husband.
Yeah. Thank you, Scott. I know that, he's making a big sacrifice there because it was a very family camping weekend that he now gets to do with 2 kids and just him. So thank you, Scott. We love you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay. So anything else we need to cover?
Well, when you find a plane ticket that's only $100, like, okay, sold.
Yeah.
Like the first time you asked me, the plane tickets were $155. That's $55 cheaper.
Exactly. And it works perfectly because we're renting a minivan to drive up, and I'm picking up the minivan from the same airport I have to get you from. So
the same
I'm just
day?
Yeah.
That works out perfect.
Exactly. So I'm just going to drive to the airport. I'm going to go get the rental car, and one of us will drive my car and one of us will drive the rental car back home, and we'll get stuff loaded up. Yeah.
Yeah.
It works out great.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So yes, I appreciate all the physackerlies.
Yes.
All right. So I guess we should get to like podcast stuff, huh?
Yeah. What are you doing today? Because I don't even know. You didn't tell me.
I know. We are going to do the true crime case of Jodi Arias. And the comparison here is going to be, there was a Lifetime movie made about this case. So we are going to kind of compare what actually happened to the Lifetime movie.
And what I'm like blanking. The name sounds so familiar.
Jodi Arias. Yes. Well, and see, I didn't know a whole lot about this case beforehand. And then I heard a podcast about her. And then I watched the movie, and then I watched a 3-part documentary. But then I decided I was going to do this episode, so I had to listen and watch all of that again. And I can say with absolute confidence, I fucking hate this woman. She's the worst kind of female that legit thought that because she was pretty and she could flirt, she could get her way out of doing something completely atrocious. Yeah, she's one of those. So,
okay.
Yeah, we're going to talk about her. I will say beforehand, if you don't want to watch the documentary and you're like, a movie sounds much more appealing, the Lifetime movie was very accurate. Like, there's a couple things that they may have changed a little bit, but for the most part, it was really accurate. So if you want to watch that, it'll give you a pretty good idea of what happened here.
Okay.
So we are going to get started, and we're going to start on June 9th of 2008. A woman by the name of Mimi Hall was supposed to be going to Cancun with her friend, Travis Alexander. And they're both very, how do you say it? Devout. They're both devout Mormons, which means absolutely no premarital sex, nothing like that. And Mimi had told Travis that all she wanted was a friendship with him. She wasn't interested in anything more. And Travis was okay with it. He was like, that's fine. We'll still go to Cancun together. So they were planning on it. Again, this was June 9th. And the trip is getting close. And Mimi hasn't heard from Travis. And she's texting him. She's calling him. Nothing. So she's like talking to his friends. And she's like, you guys know what's going on with Travis? And they're like, no, we haven't heard from him at all. Nobody had. Like, he had gone completely radio silent. And this is a man who was in like a sales position type job. So he's always on his phone.
Right.
So for him to suddenly vanish, like, that's weird. So Mimi decides to go to his house, knock on the door. She can see inside that his dog is there, but there's no answer. And he has roommates as well, but they didn't come to the door either. So she calls some of Travis's friends over, and again, they're trying to knock on the door. Nothing's happening. Well, one of them knew the code to his garage door. So they use the code, and they go inside, and they notice there's kind of a funny odor in the house.
Oh, no.
They go up there. Yeah. The door, this house is like a huge 5-bedroom home because Travis, he had a good job. He still had a couple roommates that lived with him, but it's a big ass house. Well, he has the master suite, the ensuite is his. And the door to it was locked. So they are knocking on some of the other doors. Well, it turns out one of Travis's roommates was home, but he was in his room and he was listening to a movie really loud. So he didn't hear them knocking. And they were like, hey, where's Travis? And his roommate's like, I thought he was in Cancun. I haven't seen him in days. I thought he had already left for Cancun. Yeah. Well, they're like, no, he's not. So the roommate has a key to his room. So he goes in there. And as soon as he unlocks the door and opens it, they can see there's blood everywhere, like handprints and smears on the wall, a huge blood puddle in the middle of the bedroom that looks like a body was dragged. They go into the bathroom and again, just blood everywhere. And they find Travis naked, dead in the shower. Immediately, they call the cops and get the cops there. The two that kind of head up this whole case are Detective Esteban Flores and Deputy Attorney Juan Martinez. And they both come out to the scene. While they're there, they find a .25 caliber shell casing. They find hair. They find fingerprints. There's no signs of forced entry. So whoever this was basically
access.
let into the house. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, they immediately turn to the two roommates because they're like, obviously you guys have access and there's been a dead body in here for days. And you didn't notice. Yeah. And the two of them, I don't know if this is gross or like authentic, but they were like, we're three bachelors living alone. Food gets left in the sink. The garbage gets, we forget to take the garbage out. Like gross smells are just kind of a way of life for us. Gross, guys.
Yeah. Ew.
But anyways, they find that the alibis for the roommates check out. Like they were never considered. All that they were considered is, kind of dumb for there being a
gross.
Dead body and nobody like, yeah, y'all are kind of gross. Well, as they're investigating the house, they look inside the washing machine and the bed had been stripped and the sheets and the blankets had been thrown in the washing machine. Like somebody was trying to maybe hide some DNA that was on the bed.
Yeah.
Well, in the washing machine, there was also a digital camera that had been thrown in the washing machine.
Dumbass.
Yeah. Now, the camera itself was ruined.
Right.
But there's a memory chip inside of it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
So they took that to the station and immediately put people to work on trying to get whatever they could off of this memory card.
Yeah.
Well, as all of this is going on, a woman by the name of Jodi Arias calls the detectives and, is inquiring as to what happened. And she tells the detective that her and Travis dated on and off from 2007. They dated on and off, and that she had broke up with him, but they were still friends, and she still cared about him. And if she could help with the case in any way, reach out to her.
People.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, she gets so much worse. So the detectives are like, okay, great. Thanks for reaching out. We'll get in touch if we need to. So 8 days after the death, Travis's friends are brought in and, just questioned about him and his lifestyle. Yeah. And his friends were asked, who do you think could have done this? Every single one of them said Jodi Arias. Every one of them.
Oh, shit.
How fucking toxic does your relationship have to be that when you're murdered, everybody that knows who you were dating was like, that bitch did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So backing up here a little bit, let's tell you a little bit more about Travis and Jodi. Like I said, Travis now lived, or at the time of his death, he lived in a big house. He drove a nice car. He had a good career, but his upbringing was atrocious. Both of his parents were drug addicts. They were very, very violent. He was a small child who was malnourished. His medical needs were not being met. Like he had it rough.
Yeah.
He was taken away from his parents while he was still elementary school age. Him and his siblings were. And they moved into his grandmother's house, who was then the one that raised him and got him on the right track. And grandma was a devout Mormon. And she introduced the children to this religion. And Travis, apparently in the Mormon religion, you reach a certain age. I think it's like 18, where you can start going on missions. And you basically decide if you're going to embrace the faith or not.
Okay.
Yes. And he did. He was all in. And that was it. That's the life that he wanted. And that was the faith that he believed in. So He was devout in his religion. And as an adult, he went to work at a place called Prepaid Legal Services, which is basically the business version of a pyramid scheme. Like, you have more people that sign it. Yeah. It's that kind of thing. But he was killing it at it. Like, he was doing motivational speeches, and his speeches like riled people up and got them committed to joining the company. He was doing great. He moved to Mesa, Arizona to, continue working with Prepaid Legal, but he also chose to move there because it has one of the largest Mormon communities in the country.
Okay.
And his religion was very important to him. So he moved there. Now, as I said before, the Mormon religion is very no sex until marriage.
Yes.
Well, our boy Travis was in secret kind of a fuckboy.
Kind of a fuckboy.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that, you do you. You have your faith. You do you. But he enjoyed the dirty stuff. Well, in 2006, PPL was having a weekend retreat in Las Vegas. And it was at that retreat that Travis met Jodi Arias for the first time.
Okay.
She was currently looking for basically what to do with her life. She was, she'd been from job to job and was trying to figure out a new route to take, and decided to check this out.
People.
Yeah. Now, Jodi, her life, she seems to have had a good upbringing. Her parents had good jobs. They cared for her. Things were good. They did move to a smaller town at one point in her upbringing, and she really started acting out after that. So apparently, being in a small town did not fit for her. She was also the kind of girl, and you and I know these type of people very well, where they have to have a boyfriend all the time. They have to go from one. Yeah.
Well, I know those people well.
Yeah. Well, she was one of them. And the boys that she dated kind of impacted the choices she made. Like, at the age of 16, her parents discovered that she was growing pot in her room.
Oh.
Yeah. And they were like, no. So they actually turned her into the cops. They turned in. Yeah. They turned. Yeah, and
most parents won't do that shit.
Yeah. They were like, if you're going to fuck around, you're going to find out. So they turned her in. And after that, it really affected their relationship. And going forward, Jodi refused to confide in them in anything. She actually ended up moving out before she was 18 so she could go live with her boyfriend because, she wasn't going to have her parents telling her what she could do, what she couldn't do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get over yourself,
because
princess.
There is scientific proof that from the time you turn 13 until 24, your parents are the dumbest pieces of shit on the earth.
That's true. That's true.
And then once you hit 24, you're like, oh, everything that they said is actually true.
Yeah. I tell you what, my kids to this day, they hate admitting when I'm right. They hate it. They hate it. That's... Yep.
Oh, yeah. Like, I went through a stage where I could not admit that you were right.
I know. And now you're like, everything you said is so spot on.
Spot on. I get it now. It was like literally a light switch, and I was like,
oh, yeah. I have survived on this planet.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a little bit about their background. Now we get to them meeting. And they, sparks flying between the two of them right off the bat. And, the movie even shows this, that they are all kinds of into each other right away. Well, I should mention that at the time that Jodi went to Vegas, she had a boyfriend. She had a boyfriend she'd been with for years. 4 of them, in fact. 4 years she'd been with this guy. Days after meeting Travis, she dumped her boyfriend of 4 years. She was...
Okay.
She was all in right away. Well, Travis hesitated to start a relationship with her. He was okay with, doing the dirty stuff, but he was hesitant to start a relationship because she wasn't Mormon.
Okay.
Only 2 months after meeting Travis, Jodi decides to become Mormon and to have Travis be her sponsor. Yeah, Travis be her sponsor into the religion. Basically, like he was right there next to her at her baptism. 2 months after dating.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm. Well, by February 2007.
And say, let's do everything so he can't push us aside.
Exactly.
I'm going to be everything he needs and wants me to be.
Yeah. She wanted to be the woman he wanted to marry and be with forever. She was going to mold herself into that. You're right. Mm-hmm. And by February 2007, they made it official that they were dating. And they were having all kinds of sex, like kinky sex, these two. They were into some stuff. All right.
Okay.
But what Jodi didn't realize was the fact that she's doing all sorts of dirty things with Travis was making it more and more likely that she was never going to be Mrs. Alexander because of his religion. Okay. He wanted a pure wife, which is really hypocritical because, dude, you're... She just threw herself away from her microphone.
I hate that so much.
Yeah.
Because you're going to tell me you change for the person that you like. I'm not saying like full on religions you need to do that, but you do change. They ask you to do something. You're like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. And then for them to be like, no, we're done because of that. Bitch.
Yeah,
no.
Exactly. It takes two to tango. You were just as willing, if not more, to partake in those things. You can't hold it against her because she did it. But he did. He did. But just so you know about how this relationship went down. So they're living their hypocritical life.
A little love story.
Yeah, their hypocritical love story. Their relationship turned toxic quick. Very quick. They were never apart. Now, she's living in California at the time, and he's still living in Arizona. And, they're having these trips together where they, meet and go places. He had a couple of friends that lived kind of at the halfway point, and his friends would let them come there, and they had a room for Travis and a room for Jodi because they're Mormon and you're not allowed to have sex. But of course they were finding a way.
Right.
Okay, so if they were at a party or something together and he was talking to another female, she would have to insert herself in that and pull him away because she didn't want him, like everyone had to know they were together and she was his girlfriend. And in the Lifetime movie, they show this completely, that she does this. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So his
Don't
friends...
look at me like that.
Uh-huh. You know. Well, his friends are starting to notice this mess. And sorry, I needed to drink my coffee. His friends are starting to notice this mess. And especially the couple who were letting them stay at their house from time to time. They want him to know that they're growing increasingly concerned. So they pull Travis into their room and they shut the door and they're like, hey, listen, I feel like she's eavesdropping on conversations. She's getting increasingly possessive. We just think you need to look out for her. And Travis is like, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't notice her doing that at all. And in the middle of this, Sky and Chris are the couple. And Sky is like, I just heard something in the hallway. And she's like, I think Jodi's out there right now and I think she's listening. And Travis is like, no, she's not doing that. She would not do that. No. And they're like, go look, man. So he goes over there and like flings open the door, and sure as shit, Jodi's standing right there, eavesdropping on the entire conversation. Yeah.
Proof.
Exactly. Hello. And she's like, oh, I was just, making sure everything was okay. And he was like, we'll talk about this when we get upstairs. So, yeah, that's kind of That's kind of how their relationship went. And it was shortly after this when he realizes how possessive she's being. He breaks up with her. He's like, this is toxic. I don't want to do this anymore. So he breaks up with her.
Yeah.
And he starts dating a woman named Katie. Again, they show her in the movie. Well, as he starts dating Katie starts getting threatening messages sent to her from an anonymous person. She starts having people like knocking on her doors and windows outside her house and then vanishing when she goes out there to look.
Well, that's creepy as fuck.
Yeah. That's so scary.
Yeah.
Travis has his tires slashed repeatedly. His accounts are accessed. Shit's nasty. And, everyone is like, dude, you know who's doing this, right? And he's like, yeah, it's Jodi. Well, so they're broke up and Jodi's being all kinds of crazy. So what do you do when the guy that you care about breaks up with you, or the guy that you're obsessed with breaks up with you, and you live in California and he lives in Arizona? You move to his town after they broke up.
No. Nope. No.
Yeah.
Nope.
She did. She moved to Mesa. She said it was for a job opportunity, but I think we all know she wanted to be closer to him. He objected, he saw that she was there. He objected to the fact that she was living there. But even though they were broken up, she was still trying to be with him sexually, and he didn't say no. So he's dating Katie.
No.
Yeah, he's dating Katie, who is a sweet, pure Mormon, and he really likes her, and he thinks maybe this is like the one. But Jodi is coming into his house at night. She's using his garage code. She's going up to his room while he's sleeping. She's stripping naked and climbing into bed with him. They're having sex. So in her mind, she probably thought, we're going to get back together, because if he's having sex with me, he still has feelings for me, right? No, girl. No.
No.
Mm-mm. That's not how that works. But she was in love with him, and his was just lust. Like that's all.
Right.
That's all she was to him, was sex by the end. There was also times, get this, he must have changed his garage code or something, because at one point couldn't get in that way. He had a relatively large dog, so she snuck through the dog door to get into his house at night.
Shut up.
Mm-hmm. Yep, she sure did.
No.
Well, this went on for a while, and then things between them got toxic enough that Jodi decided in 2008 she was going to move back to California and move in with her grandma and grandpa. And Travis was incredibly relieved. In fact, he decided that this was going to be a fresh start for him to get good with the church again, get in good standing with them, and he was going to turn things around for himself. He was going to stop being a fuckboy. But then we know that, in June of 2008 is when Travis was killed. So where was Jodi at the time of his death? Well, according to her, she was on a road trip alone. She claimed she left her grandparents' house June 2nd to go visit a guy she was seeing in Salt Lake City, Utah. She arrived there June 5th at the guy's house, which is the day after Travis was killed.
Okay.
Ryan Burr is the name of the guy that she was dating. And he told detectives that when she showed up at his house, when they first started dating, she was a blonde. When she showed up at his house, her hair was she was a brunette, her hair was dark, and she had cuts all over her hand. Which she claimed the cuts were from bartending.
No.
Girl.
No.
What the hell are you doing bartending that you have that many cuts all over your hands?
Right.
Yeah. So at first, now we're back to Travis's death. And at first, nothing directly places Jodi at the scene. Okay? Until they get the results of that memory card back. On the memory card are naked photos of Jodi and Travis, time-stamped the same night he died.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And there's more. There are pictures of Travis naked in the same shower he was found in. And there's one photo, yes, of Travis face down, covered in blood, and Jodi's legs standing beside his slumped body. Like, it's almost like if you dropped the camera and when it hit the ground, it took a picture, because you can see her pant leg and her foot and his body.
Yeah. Okay.
So on July 15th, Detective Flores brings Jodi in for questioning, and he asks her about her alibi. She claims that she took like this one route and that the trip took her 48 hours. He points out that if that was the case, if that's the route that she claimed she took, she had an 18-hour window unaccounted for, which would have given her plenty of time to go to Mesa, kill Travis, and still make it back to Mesa at the time that she did.
Yeah.
Well, she swears she wasn't there. No. I wasn't there. I didn't go there. I wasn't there. No. And he's like, your blood from those cuts on your hand, it's at the scene. We have your blood at the scene. We have strands of your hair at the scene. Your palm print at the scene. And the pictures. Hello, the pictures. She's like, no.
Right.
None of that. That's not the case. Well, my hair is probably there because, I've been to Travis's house, so my hair would be there, of course. And he's like, what about the pictures? And she's like, well, let me tell you, timestamps can be altered. So, yeah, those pictures look like me, but I wasn't there. It's not me. And I need you to keep in mind, okay, that this girl, as she's pretty, and as he's questioning her, she's like leaning over the table, leaning in, like she's being flirty with this guy the whole time.
Like, I'm going to show you my boobs.
Yeah, that's the kind of girl she is. He shows her the picture of her foot by Travis's body. He's like, that's your foot. Those are your pants. That's Travis. Dead right there. So instead of like admitting it, she does the weepy crying thing and still won't fess up. Yeah. But they have all this information. So Flores is like, okay, well, we're going to read you your rights and we're going to place you under arrest. Yeah.
Yeah.
To which she says she knows. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. In the interrogation room, there's actual footage of this. Okay. So if you watch the documentary for no other reason, watch it for this. She's in the interrogation room. She's being questioned in a homicide, a brutal homicide. Okay. Travis was shot in the head and he was stabbed like 28 times. All right. So this is a brutal crime scene. So what does she do in the interrogation when she's left alone for a minute? At one point, she goes over to one of the walls and she does a handstand for a minute. As one does when you're in an interrogation room and being questioned for homicide. Then she starts singing Oh Holy Night. And then at one point, and this, I don't even know what the hell she was doing. She's like got one foot up on the chair and she's got her head down and she giggles to herself. And then like to herself, she says, "Still hate me, brat."
What the fuck?
Yeah. What? Are you trying to set up an insanity plea? What are you doing? So she's going to go get booked and photographed for her mugshot. And she asks beforehand. She says, this is probably going to show me for the kind of superficial person that I am, but can I get cleaned up before my picture? And the detective is like, bitch, no. You're the way you are right now. You're just going to go get your picture taken like that.
No,
you're going to get your picture taken the way you're at. But she goes in for her photograph. And before they take a picture, she fluffs her hair and she asks the policeman who's taking the picture, "How do I look?" And then she does like a little smile before she gets her mugshot taken.
Oh my gosh.
Do you see why I hate this woman so badly?
No. Yeah.
She's the worst.
Yeah.
Okay, so the interrogation is continuing the next day, and they decide they're going to bring in a female detective because maybe Jodi will feel more comfortable with the female. Maybe she'll be a little bit more, forthcoming with information. No. Jodi would not say one fucking word to this female detective. Nothing.
No, because it was a woman.
She's the worst. The detective finally is like, if you would rather talk to Detective Flores, you can. And she's like, yeah, he knows more about Travis's family and what's going on there, so I'd really feel more comfortable talking to him. He's man, and she thinks she can flirt her way out of this. So
right.
The female leaves. Flores tries a new approach, and he's just asking like straightforward questions. He's not saying, "Were you there?" because he knows she was. So now he's saying, "What did you do while you were there? Did he know you were coming?" Stuff like that. She admits to showing up to the house at 3 o'clock in the morning, that they went to bed and they woke up the next afternoon and had sex. Then she goes for this Hail Mary approach to the entire thing and says that while she was there, a man and a woman in ski masks rushed in. They shot Travis. She hid in the closet. They found her in there. The guy took her wallet and pulled out her car registration and said, "You're the bitch from California." And the woman wanted to kill her, but the man spared her. And he told her to get in her car and drive away and don't tell anyone what you saw or we'll kill you and your family. And they let her go, and she just drove away and didn't say anything to anybody.
So she's trying to blame it that somebody else did this.
Yes. Okay, so Detective Flores hears this whole story. And he's like, well, that's pure fucking horse shit. That didn't happen. Not one bit of it. He's like, you wanna try this again? But no. She buckled down on that story, and she's like, that's what happened.
Right.
She even did press conferences in jail where she reiterated this story. All the while coming off as this pretty, sweet, soft-spoken girl that was trying to fucking flirt her way out of the death penalty. Well, then her attorney comes onto the case. And her attorney has the best name on the planet. Are you ready for this? His name is Kurt Nurmi.
That might be the best name ever.
Yeah, Kurt Nurmi. I heard that name and it made me think of Bert and Ernie.
See, I thought like Kermit the Frog.
Yeah, Kurt Nurmi.
Yeah.
All of that. It sounds like a cartoon character name or a Muppet.
Yeah, definitely a Muppet.
It's fantastic. Yes. Now, we are closing in on Jodi's trial, but we are actually going to pause here. We're going to cut this into a 2-part episode because, like we said at the beginning of this episode, we have had nothing but technical difficulties. So we're going to cut it here.
Better.
No, it's getting worse. So we're going to cut it here, and we will do the second half with her trial next week.
Yes.
Okay, so we have that to look forward to. We also have, we've mentioned it before, our tip jar. If you are an avid listener and want to help us out, help us grow the podcast, we have our tip jar. You can make any kind of monetary donation to the podcast that you want. There's no obligations to do it ever again. You can do it a one-time thing. Or if you don't want to do that, you can also review and help us continue
Just keep
to trend.
listening.
Yes. Exactly. Continue listening and review and share our podcast with your friends. Sandra, what is the link to our...
It's mimesis.captivate.fm/support.
Perfect. All right. So that is all we have time for today.
Yes. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Mimesis.
If you enjoy this podcast, by all means, tell your friends about it and give us a review on whatever platform you listen on.
We'd love to hear from you.
Thanks.